What's going on, YouTubers? This is Oscar. I got another video today. This is actually my personal vehicle. This is my 2010 Lincoln Towncar. Picked it up for a pretty good deal. It's got really high miles, man, but the maintenance has been done. Look at this guy, my son, just chilling over here. Say what's up, Papa. Let me see your teeth. Anyways, so I was driving it today, and we had a jerking, so it started kind of jerking on me, kind of like, it felt like transmission, to be honest. So I went ahead and connected the code reader. I probably should have done this before I cleared the codes. We had codes for the throttle body. We had mass airflow sensor codes. So the mass airflow, just gotta hook this up. You got your air tube right here. You got your air tube right here. And then you got the mass airflow sensor right here, and then here's the harness for the mass airflow. So I took the tube out and I wanted to do an inspection of what we had going on. And what you usually want to do with these mass airflow sensors is, let me see those wires in there? So those wires are, okay, those wires in there are resistive components. So as air, let me see if I can. So as air flows through this direction and it comes out, actually it doesn't come out through up here, but as air flows through it, it actually cools this hot wire. So this wire assembly in here gets really red hot, and as air flows through it, it cools it down and it changes the voltage reading. So the computer can calculate how much airflow is coming in. Now this mass airflow sensors on Fords, I know that they're also used as part of a input, so to say, for the transmission shifting. So if this isn't given the correct reading, the computer doesn't know how much air is coming inside the engine, and we don't know, and this is also like a load sensor as well, then the transmission doesn't know what the hell it's doing. It's going to start shifting erratically, and you might think that you might have a transmission fault. So it's really good to do a diagnostic if you got a scan tool and see what's going on. Always obviously do a visual inspection. Now here's something special that I found as soon as I took this mass airflow sensor out. Check this out. China. This is a Dorman. That's their logo. This is a Dorman aftermarket mass airflow sensor. The company that makes these sensors, again, their name is Dorman. And look, guys, honest with you, anytime you do any type of sensor repair, any type of computer repair with these cars, whether it's an ignition coil, whether we got purge valves, mass airflow sensors, map sensors, don't fuck around, man. Get the OEM one. Get the manufacturer recommended ones. These aftermarkets, they just do not compare. They start kind of glitching out, and it's kind of weird because I'm looking at the inside and you can actually see the soldering on the inside of the sensor, man. I mean, this is bad. This is really bad. This isn't done correctly. So they're a lot more expensive. They cost maybe about another $150 more than what this one would probably run you, but you're not going to have these weird problems, especially when you replace the sensor and then you still have issues. I always get a lot of customers that they'll get fuel injectors, they get ignition coils, and they get them off eBay or Amazon, and if you can get them from a reputable dealer, it's not a problem. But when you start getting them from a place that you don't, not a really trusted place, you can start having issues, you know. And then you replace it, and then you still have the same problem, and you're like, well, I just replaced my sensor, man, I don't know what's going on. And then most of the time I have to start recommending go to the OEM. So I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on this one. I'm gonna have to get one. I'm gonna get it on rockauto.com. Rock Auto's got some really good OEM parts, and they're a lot cheaper if you can wait for the shipping. This isn't my daily, this is kind of like my weekend thing, so I got some time on it. So what would I do to I guess in the meantime, what I'm gonna do in the meantime is I'm gonna see if I can clean that out. And you can use a mass airflow cleaner. They sell it at AutoZone. I use brake cleaner, you know, as long as it doesn't leave any type of residue. It works the same. You just want to clean that crap out. That's my puppy Louie. That's Louie right there. What's up, Papa? And yeah, you want to get these cleaned up as much as you can, but this isn't gonna fix it permanently. We're gonna have to replace the sensor. How I was able to diagnose this, let me see if I can show you what we're doing here. So I'm gonna put the key in the ignition. Now if you have a pretty basic scanner, you can kind of get some of this information. So I'm going to be on the generic functions of my Modus here. One of these days I'll figure out how to put it on the screen here so that we can see what's going on. So right now the vehicle's communicating. I just turned the key on, and the scanner is communicating with the PCM, trying to get the information that we need. And then as soon as this guy loads up, we'll go from there. Alright, so I pulled up our data list here. So we got a couple PIDs, or PIDs is data that the computer looks at so that you can kind of see what the computer's seeing and what you can see. So we just kind of go down here. Right now we got a -40, obviously because I have the sensor disconnected. Same thing with a couple other things here. And I'm in the generic aspect of this of the scan tool. I'm not in the actual manufacturer section. Sometimes the data that I'm trying to get together, it works a little bit better for my diagnosis. So what I did was I came up here, and I want to eliminate as much data as possible that is irrelevant to my concern here. You want to get data that is relevant, because you get the information a little bit quicker. So we're going to be looking at the airflow rate, intake air temperature as well, and I also like looking at short-term and long-term fuel trends for bank. Actually, I'm just going to stick with short-term for right now, but I'm going to look at short-term fuel trends for bank 1, short-term fuel trend for bank 2, and then I want to see what the bank 1 sensor 1 and the bank 2 sensor 1 O2 sensors are doing here. So that gives me the PID data a lot quicker. Now the car's off right now, so let me hook it up and show you what I was looking at. So I got everything put back together, and I'm looking at my airflow rate. It's at about 5. I found that, see how it's kind of fluctuating just up and down. It's just kind of hunting. Now trip on this, right? Most V8s typically it's around 8. I mean, there's not really a set number, but you can see that airflow rate meter is just all over the place. It's just not consistent. Check out what happens to the car the minute I start tapping it. Right, I'm gonna kind of tap it, so right here, it's all plugged in. I'm gonna tap it so you guys can see what happens. See that? Look, I'm gonna tap it again. You're gonna see. Look at the readings. It's hunting. It's trying to figure out where it's at. If you hit it hard enough, you'll actually get it to stall out. See, look at that. See how it starts glitching out? That's not supposed to do that. That's why the car's running like shit, and that's why this thing needs a mass airflow sensor. Look, it kind of chilled out now. Not too bad. Look what happens when I start tapping it. Stalled the engine out. So there you have it. We got a bad mass airflow sensor. Again, stay away from these aftermarket parts. You know, they cause more problems than they fix. And as you can see in today's video, this one was really easy to diagnose. It wasn't too crazy. I just started seeing the numbers fluctuate for the airflow rate meter. And this is something you can do with a basic scan tool. You know, most of diagnosis seriously comes down to just performing a basic visual inspection. Once the visual inspection is completed, then you can determine and kind of have like a foundation laid out so that you can establish what's going to be the next logical process of the diagnostic. So this was super easy to do. Again, you can always start tapping components, especially electrical components. If they start to kind of wig out like this, we got a problem. So stay tuned. We're going to put the new mass airflow sensor once the Motorcraft one comes in. We're going to retest it and we're going to go from there. So I got a mass airflow sensor. This is a Ford authentic one right here. I actually want to go get this at the junkyard. I got it on a low mileage vehicle. But look at the inside. Look at the resistors in there. See how they're nice and clean? I'm going to show you an example of what the dormant ones look like. How they look like shit. But you see the orange and yellow resistors, and you can see the wiring to the side of them, how nice and clean that is. I'm going to show you what the dormant rebuilt ones look like. This is an authentic Motorcraft mass airflow sensor. So here, this is the mass airflow sensor again, the Dorman one, the cheap one that was made in China. Matter of fact, I was also looking at this front connector here, and the connector doesn't snap in all the way. It's a different design. But anyways, one of the important keys for this is these resistors here. Now can you see that huge buildup of solder on the side of that? Compare that again with the other one, and you'll see that there's a lot of weird things going on here. And it's these things that cause weird malfunctions. Same thing back there too in that blue resistor. I wish I could get you a better one, but yeah. Stay away from this stuff. Dorman has actually failed me a lot more times than they have saved my day. I've had to do a few jobs over again because of these parts. So yeah, don't buy aftermarket cheap parts, guys. With OEM parts, when it comes to electronics, stick to the OEM.